All right, hello, welcome back, everybody. Unfortunately, with the market being down the last 2 days, I didn't get anything yesterday, and it was kind of slow out there for at least most of the morning today, but did get some interesting trades in. Two trades today in ADN, in BTAI. Let's break them down, let's trade. All right, so first trade of the day here was on ADN. You can see it popping up big on the day, big on the scanner alert, and it's easy to borrow on a stock that's sub $3. So I'm thinking this may be one that I might be able to get some decent size into. I'm going to look for this pop here to start. I go ahead and put 200 shares out, get filled there at 294 for my initial position here on ADN, and going to look for a nice pop through 3 to add in there. So at this point, it'll either come down and make me a small amount on 200 shares, or it's going to keep going and I can get some bigger share size into this one and try to make some bigger money. So that's what we're looking for, and we're going to wait and see if it can pop up through 3. I'm going to need at least through 310 here, just because my first entry there was at 294, so just a 3 pop by itself is not going to do enough on the range there to justify an add. So I'm going to be looking for up through the 310 area for another 200 shares if ADN can give me that move. So it does pop through 3, and it's kind of just chilling slightly above 3 for a little bit. So I'm like, this may be just a slight fake breakout through 3 here. We'll see what it does. It's either going to come down and get me out for small profit, or it's going to give me that opportunity still to add in some more shares. So I actually thought it was about to come down here as it came back down under 3. I was like, okay, it's probably going to do that, move back down to the downside here. Couldn't get higher through 3, but then it started getting a little bit more momentum back up beneath it. So it gets back up over 3. It's pushing up towards that 310. It's just over 310 there for a second. I adjust my limit order up to 315 just because of that little bit of a pullback it went through, that micro pullback. I want a little bit higher now on the fill if I can get it. So there it is, up through 315. I go ahead and hit 200 more shares short there at 315 for an average of 304 on 400 shares short now. Unfortunately, this thing came almost down to my take profit order. You can see I had 300 shares sitting out there at 286. I was going to be willing to take that and then look for more, but it got stuck right at 290 on that big red candle. So at that point, it turned this one into a little bit more difficult of a grindy trade that I was now working in, but still only in 400 shares here on a $300 stock, so I was willing to add in more if it wanted to go. It does start going here a bit. I go ahead and get 400 more shares here up at 335, so I now have 800 shares short at 320. I'm going to look for a push up towards 350, and I actually ended up putting out an order at 349 for another 400, but did not get filled there. Several minutes later, it's coming down, it's going sideways, maybe slightly up, so I decided just to put 600 shares out, 1 cent below my average there, just to kind of reduce this one down a little bit in case it decides to curl back up again off of this previous dip level. But if not, we'll just try and reduce this one down a little bit because it's no longer really doing what I like. So I get the fill there, 600 shares at 319, and I've got another order sitting out for another 100 at 310 if it can get down there. So there it goes. It gets me that 100 at 310. So I'm now down to that last remaining 100 shares, just kind of really looking to get out of this one here. I did put an order out at 305 just to see if I could get it a little bit lower here above 3, but it starts putting in a little bit of a green candle there. I cancel that order and just take the whole thing off there for plus $21 on an 800 share position. So that was kind of frustrating. Finally got a little bit bigger share size into one here, but it just didn't give me that pullback that I needed and I was looking for, so worked my way out of it instead and move on to another trade on the day if it can find us one, making $21 there. Thankfully, BTAI started screaming on the scanner much later on after 11 o'clock, and you can see it's popping up real nice here. Go ahead and get 100 shares short here to start at 22.42 on BTAI, up into the 30s if you look, alerting on the intensity scanner right below my face. And I'm going to look to add into this one if we can get up through that 22.80 range. 22.80, another 40 cents higher. I will look to put in another 100 shares. So it's popping up pretty much next candle, and I'm looking to see if it can get through that 22.80s. It gets there through there for just a second. There it gets through again. I click the button, get the fill. Now I have 200 shares short at an average of 22.61, and we'll see if this either pops up through 23 or if it starts fading back off to take some profit. Thankfully, I'm looking for 2220 here, which is below both entries to take off first 100 shares. It gets under there on the bid. I click it. It immediately pops right back up over the 2220. So at this point, I decide just to leave the order out there since it's a little bit choppy at 2220 and see if I can get the fill on that first 100 shares there below both entries, below that first entry, which is the shares that's going to take off first. And there it goes. It gives me the fill there at 2220 and then quickly moves right below 22. I pretty much wasn't even ready for it. I saw that I got the fill. I looked down. I was like, wait a minute, we're under 22? What's going on here? How'd that happen? But I decide now that I have the 100 shares left still that I want to piece this 100 out even further. So I'm going to go ahead and get ready with the next 50 shares here. So half of that 100 if we can get down below that 2190 level. And we'll look to take off another half here. So it's kind of hanging out at 22. I'm looking to see if we can push down a little bit further below 2190. Here's the push down into the 90s. Can it get further down? I'm looking for that move there. It's under. I click the button, get the fill down to 50 shares left now on BTAI, and we'll look to piece those out even further into sets of 25. So a little bit later, I'm looking to see if I can get below 2170 with the next 25. It kind of hits that 2170 level and starts to pop up a little bit here. So I'm like, is this the spot where we're going to curl just like ADN did earlier? I'm not sure. We'll see what it does. It starts making a green move, so I decide just to take off another 25 right there before it gets below that 2170 mark, just to cover off a little bit more, and then we'll see if we can get those remaining 25 shares down a little bit further towards 2150. If we can make that move towards 2150, I will look to probably front run that $0.50 mark and see if I can get a little bit better on this fill. So I'm going to go ahead and get ready with the limit at 2160. If we get below 2160, I'm going to click the button, see if we can get a fill. There's below. I click the button, get the fill, and we're all out on BTAI for a gain of $120. So that's going to do it for me, up 140 today, which is actually pretty good considering how things were moving on the day. It's not been my type of market the last 2 days really to be trading in, so happy to be able to make some money in, and we'll move on to tomorrow. Hopefully things will pick back up. But thank you for watching. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe. I appreciate it. I'll see you later. Peace.